The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Run for joy on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Cedar Botanical Garden in Curtisville. We'll tell you all about them later on. And later on is when the roundtable shows up. We'll get into some real controversial topics, so stay tuned for that. Between now and then, some great guests and important information coming your way. But where we want to start talking about important, it is that time of year again. Healthcare, insurance, what do we do? Do we re-enroll? What kind of plan do we get? So we brought in an expert to help us sort things through. My good buddy, Morgan Campbell, Client Risk Advisor with Alliance Insurance Services. Good to see you again.
Good seeing you too.
We're in that period of time now, so any changes or anything we should know about?
So we're going to go ahead and start off with the bad news.
Which is?
Your Part B premiums are going up.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's it for this segment. All right.
So expect to start seeing your Social Security checks decrease, and what that'll be is actually $174.70 a month now, starting in January.
Man, now I'm all depressed. Now, are there any new rules or regulations we should keep in mind during this enrollment period?
Not necessarily for Medicare. For under 65, if you're getting coverage through the marketplace, we as brokers now have to have consent forms signed. So if your agent or your broker asks you to sign a consent form, that means we can't do anything for you without having that signature on file.
Now you're talking about just right now, is this not group insurance?
Not group insurance. Individual under 65 when you give through the marketplace and get you a tax credit.
But now this is a good time up until what date? Let's shift to Medicare for a second.
Okay.
Let's say I want to study this and call you up and say, hey, should I change this or whatever? I have until when if it's a Medicare thing?
December 7th.
December 7th that I can change. And that includes like Part D and the drug prescriptions. Correct. And everything. Now, let's just for folks that may get toward that 65 threshold pretty soon and don't know, what's the difference between Part A and Part B? Now, a lot of people get confused. They see all these ads and everything.
It can be very confusing. So Part A covers your hospitalization. You get that for free. Shocker.
Yeah.
Part B, you do pay for, and you get that directly through Medicare. If you're going in with Social Security check, you're probably already in the system.
Right.
So you'll automatically be enrolled in Part B. Then, very importantly, you have to get Part D, which is a drug plan.
Right, and that's a requirement, which, you and I have talked about this off camera before. I hate that, you're required to have a drug plan, but you are.
You are. If not, you're going to get penalized for every month that you're eligible for one and did not have a prescription drug plan.
I didn't know we were living in Russia. Now, we all like to keep up with our deductibles and talk about confusing. How are those calculated in general? I know it's different for everybody, different policies, but in general, how are deductibles figured out?
It's pretty much a standard. You can go with a $2,500 deductible, and that's basically now being administered by CMS, which is laying down the rules of what the deductibles and out-of-pocket maxes will be. But if you really want to know where you're at with your deductible, like let's say you went in for an MRI.
Okay.
Every insurance carrier has an online portal that you can register for, and you can go in there and see exactly your claim, see how it processed, if it has processed, how much the carrier paid, how much you can expect to get a bill for.
Okay. So, now, I guess we're almost out of time, but any other problems or barriers you can think of that we need to get over to start filing for health insurance?
I would say the most important thing for under 65, not Medicare, but under 65, make sure your physicians are in the network and you update that income.
Oh, that's good
You don't
advice.
want to have to pay that tax credit back when you file taxes.
No, that's good advice. I'm sorry you brought us some bad news on the front end, but anyway, you're an expert. I appreciate you helping with this. Up on screen, myallianceinsurance.com is their website. Please go to that, and they do a great job. I'm not supposed to do commercials, but they do a great job. And you can call and ask for Morgan, and she'll give you the bad news about what's increasing and what's not, but you need to check with her because it's just complicated stuff. Morgan, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Need help buying food? Everyone needs help sometimes. Food and nutrition services may be able to help you buy food and free up your money for other expenses, such as utilities and medicine. To receive F&S assistance, households must meet income limits. You may be able to get assistance even if you own a home, car, land, property, or have a retirement plan or money in the bank. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina team members can help you with the application process over the phone. To receive help or if you have any questions, call 336-422-7758.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today, you've heard the phrase in TV and movies when somebody stands up in the crowd and says, "Is there a doctor in the house?" We have 3 doctors in this house, and I'm glad all 3 of them are here. First, my friend who's been on the show before, Dr. Glenn Golzewski, who's Chief Medical Director for Mountain Valley Hospice and Palliative Care. He brought along 2 very special guests who are newcomers to the Mountain Valley system, but not newcomers to medicine and patient care. Dr. Alex Waite, Staff Physician, Dr. Don Bivens, Medical Director for the Virginia area for Mountain Valley. Welcome, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you. Welcome, Jim.
Dr. G, I'm going to spend most of the time with you, and we'll get to the newcomers in just a second, to the young guys. Most patients receive hospice care in their own home, but sometimes that's not what needs to be done. Sometimes they make the transition to a hospice home. Where are your 2 hospice homes located?
We have one in Dobson, North Carolina, and one in Yadkinville, North Carolina, so both easily accessible off of major roads in our area.
And when is it appropriate, Dr. G, for a family to make that decision? Maybe they started out with having your folks come to their house. When is it appropriate to move to or go to a hospice home?
It's appropriate when patients normally have symptoms that can't be managed effectively in the home environment. So like you said, most people want to be taken care of at home, and that's how the Medicare hospice benefit came into being. It was created after asking Americans about their preferences at end of life, and there was a strong preference to be cared for at the end of life at home and not die in a hospital or a nursing home or anywhere else, but to still have good pain and symptom control at home.
Now, since you mentioned pain and symptom control, what kind of services are offered at each of your hospice homes?
When you go to the inpatient facility, what you get is there's a nurse there, registered nurse 24/7, so all day and all night. There are providers there, physicians or nurse practitioners, and they'll round on the patients every day, weekends and holidays included. There's a pharmacy there that includes all the medications that people typically will need at the end of life, specifically for symptom management stuff. So it's readily available to be given emergently if needed, as soon as a doctor or nurse practitioner gives an order. There's cleaning staff there. There's hospice aides there for personal care.
Really full service care.
It really is a full service hospital just geared toward end of life care for hospice patients.
And we know for a fact that, and I don't have to tell you guys, that hospice care is not just about the patient, but about the families too. So in that regard, what overall benefits are there to having a loved one in a hospice home?
You get a break from the caregiving role, which can be an extraordinary thing. So not only do you get better symptom control because of the way we give medications. When somebody comes into the hospice home with uncontrolled symptoms, they'll typically be given injectable medications, because not only are they no longer going to make the person nauseous or not be absorbed, but they're going to work quicker, and they're going to allow us to give higher doses more frequently without the dose accumulating.
Right.
So you get quicker symptom control, but you also get a break for the family in an environment that's created for not only the patient, but the family.
Absolutely. Alex and Don, same question very quickly for you guys. What drew you, after great careers anyway, what drew you to want to be at Mountain Valley Hospice and associated with it?
Well, really started in college at Wake Forest. I had a roommate who's a family medicine physician up in Virginia. He also works with hospice, and we get together every year and tells me what a wonderful way it is to give to families and patients. And so I've always been very interested in it, and I've heard just amazing things about Mountain Valley Hospice and palliative care, and what a great group, and Dr. G, what a great physician he is.
I'm going to let you echo, Don.
Well, I came out of retirement to come back to Mountain Valley.
Wow, so did I. No, I'm kidding.
But it's a calling to be to work as a physician in the hospice world. And Mountain Valley is an ideal hospice. It's a great place to work.
Well, we're treating you young guys as newcomers, even though you came out of retirement. So the next time we get you back, we'll go more in depth. Will you all two come back sometime?
Absolutely.
All right. I want to put something up on screen before I forget. MTNValleyHospice.org stands for MountainValleyHospice.org is the website, or you can call 888-789-2922 for more information. And to our three doctors for caring and offering the care that they do and taking care of patients and families, I appreciate all y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah. We'll be right back after this.
My mother passed away on a Monday night. My dad and I were with her. What would have been a dreadful experience at home was a blessing at the Woltz Hospice Home in Dobson. Mama was safe and comfortable. So were we. We were even able to bring our dog Gracie for a visit. From their in-home care to their hospice homes to helping us after she was gone. The people at Mountain Valley Hospice made us better people and became family.
Back now on Triad Today. Always glad when we can spend a few minutes with the good folks from Triad Goodwill. And we have two of those good folks with us right now. Return visitor. I don't know why she keeps coming back for punishment, but we're glad she did. Selena McRae is Manager of Community and Business Engagement for Triad Goodwill. And a first-time visitor to the show. We're so glad to welcome Damian Walker, who's Supervisor of Logistics Operations. Good to see both of you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Jim.
Selena, let me start with you. Now, everyone knows about Goodwill, and hey, I take things down there and I donate items, whatever. But we don't always talk about the Goodwill stores. Now, what are they all about and why are they so important?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, like you said, a lot of people know us for our retail stores, but you do know our mission, Jim, too, improving lives and enriching communities through the power of work. And kind of how it's all related takes us back to 1902. Edgar Helms was a minister in Boston that went to wealthy neighborhoods, took trash from the curb, taught people how to make repairs to those items, sewing, light carpentry, and then sold those items at just enough to pay the workers.
Right.
And so that's the foundation we still exist today and why those donations and shoppers are so important to helping people find work.
Right, and of course, most of the time, those things are not so much repaired. They're just they're lightly used. They're in the stores, but they're great bargains, and there's some new items too there. Now, what are some of the ways that individuals can, well, I guess, contribute to and support the Goodwill mission other than, and we want them to donate items from home, we want them to shop in the stores. Are there other ways that we can help out?
Yeah, there are lots of opportunities to make even bigger impacts than you could as just an individual donor or shopper. And one of those is actually donation drives. So if you work at a business or involved in community organization, you can host a donation drive at that location, and we can tailor it based on your needs. Something as large as a tractor trailer in the parking lot, down to outdoor bins, indoor bins, or even personalized bags that you can bring home.
I'm so glad you mentioned the term tractor trailer, because there's a gentleman sitting here with us right now, and I've already given his title, but people would know by the title. Tell me, because you drive those big rigs and everything, which would nerve-wracking for me. But now tell me about how you got involved with Goodwill, Damien.
Okay, well, I started out at Goodwill Industries as a part-time donation attendant when I was in college. From there, I was promoted to full-time. Goodwill loves to promote within, and I'm a prime example of that. After I was promoted to full-time, I was able to have the opportunity to drive the smaller trucks within the company.
Okay.
From driving the smaller trucks, I was promoted to driving the straight trucks.
Okay.
So I'm constantly being promoted.
And then you had to really go through put you through the mill, get some tests and everything to where now you can drive anything, right?
Yes, sir. I went through CDL training. They give you everything, teach you how to back, turn, what to look for, teach you road safety and everything.
How have you benefited personally from being involved in Goodwill and moving up through the ranks? What has it meant to you?
Personally, it has shown me that anything's possible. You know, personally, I've grown a lot. I've opened up more. I'm doing things that I never thought I would do. I'm speaking with people that I never thought I would speak with, and it's allowed me to grow not only personally, but just have a better relationship with the community and what the mission means.
What are some of the benefits, I guess either of you could answer this, but what are the benefits of hosting a donation drive versus just making individual drop-offs? I know you were in a position in college where you took in, what's the benefit for this?
Well, some of the benefits for hosting a donation drive is, for one, convenience. So say if your neighborhood or church is having a community yard sale, a lot of people like to donate after the yard sale is over. Well, if they have a donation drive in conjunction with their yard sale, we could drop off a trailer or bins at the location, so therefore the individuals won't have to drive to the store. They can drop everything off there. Our drivers will come back and pick it up.
Even larger items?
Even larger items.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know they can do that too. I'll take my coat or my shirt or shoes in there and donate, but they don't think, hey, I could take a bedroom suit in there, and you'll pick it up. I'm just so glad at what you guys are doing. I will put something on screen. Triadgoodwill.org is a website which I hope everybody will visit and learn more about. Always glad to see Selena, but especially was glad to see you, Damien, because of that story, the backstory, and all you've accomplished. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Right now on Triad Today, and I have three great folks here. They're going to tell us what we can do about running for joy, because it's such an uplifting event. I want to learn all about it. And our special guest, who's never been with us before, but we're glad she's here, Lori Beardsley, is founder of Run for Joy. And she brought along two guys I've never met before. David Daggett, Griff Schuler, the Daggett Schuler team from the law firm. Good to see you, everybody.
Hey, Jim.
Lori, let me just start out. We'll get into some specifics later, but what is Run for Joy all about? Why did you start it?
Well, we started it about 3 years ago when, unfortunately and tragically, my daughter, Caitlin, died by suicide. She was a nurse in the nurse anesthetist program at Wake Forest, and it was during COVID. And we didn't know that anything was wrong. And so we decided that we needed to start something along with her classmates and the faculty to do a race, because one of the ways that my daughter fought like anxiety and depression was through running. Right. And so that is why we started it, so we could help other healthcare trainees during a very difficult training set, It's very difficult training.
Well, I'm so glad you did start this. And David, let me ask you, why is the focus on mental health awareness so important these days?
Well, the stress and anxiety that young people have, they tend to hide it. And as Lori says over and over, it's okay not to be okay, but you have to let people know so that you can surround yourself.
Sure.
And as you know, I have a daughter in graduate school to be a mental health counselor. This is near and dear to our family. And I'm just so proud of the Beardsley family and the medical school environment that has all come together.
Really, and get behind it.
In order to support the awareness of the importance of mental health, and particularly for healthcare providers, healthcare students, healthcare trainees. And what a wonderful event.
Right, and Lori, I want to mention to the folks at home that some people watch us streaming on WFMY, and some people watch us on Saturdays and Sundays. For those that are watching Saturday morning, right now at 7:30, you still got time to come out and support the event. Tell me when it is, exactly where it is, where it's going to be held, and where do the proceeds go?
Yes, it'll be at 9 a.m. on Saturday, this coming Saturday, October 21st at Jameson Park. We will have a race there. And what we've done with the funds is that we are helping provide some mental health care for some of the healthcare trainees. Because as you know, it's hard sometimes when you're in medicine or in the military. If you are having struggles, sometimes that affects your promotions. It affects how people see you. And so we've provided a way so that people can get the care they need without all of that.
What role are you going to play in this event?
I am honored. This is the third year of the event, and I've emceed the event all 3 years, and I'm very, very excited about that. I'll add to what Lori said. In addition, just raising the level of awareness of the issue. The first year, they set an optimistic goal. Let's get 300 participants out here. Had over 600 the first year.
Wow.
And those are 600 people, many of them from the healthcare community, that can help spread the message and awareness that's so important.
Absolutely. Griff, why should everybody get behind this? What should the takeaway be?
Well, there's really a stigma in the world around us about mental health issues. And I think in particular it's tough for folks that are in the healthcare field, particularly trainees, to reach out because they're supposed to be helping other people.
Right.
And so sometimes it's hard to know that you need to help yourself first because you feel like you're helping others, helping patients and things. And so I think, kind of breaking through some of that stigma through a cause like this is fantastic.
Absolutely. Good point. Now, up on screen, Run for Joy. That's right now, if you're watching Saturday, 9 a.m., Jamison Park, Winston-Salem. If you want to register, you can go just Google Run for Joy 5K, or you can go to Facebook and do the same thing. And if you ever need help from these gentlemen back here, daggettschulerlaw.com is the website. The phone number is 724-1234. We have about 2 seconds left, Laurie. If I can't be there, is there a virtual thing? Or
There is a virtual run. People can sign up and contribute, and we can put those funds to use for good mental health care awareness.
I think that's great. I'm a virtual host, actually.
Oh,
I'm not really here. No, thanks
you.
for all you're doing. You're and your husband and all of the supporters in doing that. Guys, thanks for supporting
having
this.
us.
And David, you're going to hang around for the roundtable, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Right now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden. Come on out here, hold your functions here, and can you say that? I didn't mean biologically. I don't know. You can do anything out here. Oh, before we get to the roundtable, just a sad note I want to report. 2 fine actresses passed away on the same day. Piper Laurie, who was on this show in 2014 when she came to visit us in Winston-Salem. She was in Carrie and a lot of other good movies. She was 91. And my friend, Suzanne Summers, passed away on that same day, age 76. The battle with cancer finally got her. We met about 15 years ago in an event I was doing in Hollywood, and she's just the sweetest person, and we will miss her. Now to the roundtable. On my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman. Our guest star today in the middle is that great TV personality, Rosemary Plybon, and then David Daggett has been held over against his will from the last segment. All right, guys and gals, a new law in North Carolina will require high school students to take a computer science course if they want to graduate. Good idea or bad idea, Ogie?
Yeah, the day is upon us. I mean, it's the way of the world. You're going to have to know how to use computers to make it in the world.
I actually disagree because I think they are using their computers in all of their classes already, and that it's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, that's a good point, David.
So I have 3 kids in college. I asked them about this question.
What did they say?
And they said they're very good on their phones, but a lot of the students, particularly the ones that aren't college bound, aren't good on a computer. And the computers are part of every job, everywhere, every place.
I didn't think about that.
And just the structure of naming and saving documents is foreign to a lot of students.
Right.
So I say yes.
All right.
They did get a lot of it during COVID. That was
Yeah.
the one thing
All right.
I think that had changed.
All right, speaking of high school students, California just narrowly defeated a bill that would have given free condoms to high school age students. The bill was defeated just because it would have been too costly. Aside from that, would you like to see North Carolina high schools distribute free condoms? Ogie.
Well, again, the time has come, especially these states that are outlawing abortion, use condoms. Even pimply-faced boys, need to know how to do it.
Right. Rosemary,
I think he makes a good point, and yes, have them readily available. Do I think kids are going to go to their school and look for them and ask for them? Probably not.
You don't think so, David?
I agree with Rosemary, and I like your word available as opposed to distribute.
Right.
And I think that's an important distinction.
Okay. Now, over a dozen Guilford College fans hurled racial slurs at Virginia State University women's soccer players during a recent game in Greensboro. VSU, of course, is a HBCU. In some sports, a forfeit is declared when crowds get unruly. So my question is, should racial slurs warrant a forfeit in high school and college games? Mr. Oakman.
First of all, I'm just really disappointed. I would have thought better from Guilford, of all places.
Right.
I think they ought to kick them out immediately, identify them, people rat them off, they'll say that guy did it, and then give them whatever the equivalent of a 15-yard penalty, a yellow flag.
There were, I think, 14 or 15 of them that did that. What do you think? Is it warrant a forfeit for the game?
I actually think yes. I think give the fans want to be a part of the game. Well, guess what? Now you're in it. And when you do that, then your team loses. You pay the price.
So I think the investigation has a little bit different twist on those facts. So I'm going to give Guilford College a little bit of a break, but you may know I officiated high school and college wrestling for 20 years.
That's right.
And yes, if the crowd gets out of line, the home management has a responsibility to control that, and if they can't control it, yes, it should be a forfeit.
Then it goes to forfeit.
Now, I don't think this situation escalated to that level.
No, didn't get to that.
But the answer to the question is yes.
Right. The Biden administration wants social media platforms to block misinformation about elections, vaccines, and other topics. Conservative groups are challenging that policy in court. They say Democrats just want to silence alternative views. Is blocking misinformation okay with you, or does that violate free speech? Ogie.
Yeah, they want to call alternative that's a polite way of saying lies.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah, I think we've got to. It's gotten out of hand. Misinformation is lying.
Bad for freedom of speech, or should we block it?
I mean, I hate that it's out there, right? But let's go back to that high school course. This is what I think we need, is a course to help students navigate and find the truth, because you're going to have it. It's not going away.
Block the information, or is that bad to block it?
Harmful lies is not entitled to free speech protection. Look at our recent settlement between Fox News and Dominion Voting.
Good point.
Those were harmful lies, and they paid a dear price for it.
Yeah.
So, in answer to your question, sure, they should censor harmful lies.
Misinformation. All right,
Yeah.
Especially about health matters, too. Longtime Republican Highs Point Mayor Jay Wagner, who's been on this show several times, recently announced he's going to challenge 6th District incumbent Congressman Kathy Manning next year. Very quickly, who wins this, Ogie?
Jay and I had a long talk about baseball after a show one time. Nice guy, but Kathy Manning, please. Kathy,
Rosemary.
come on.
Yeah, I think Kathy, name recognition alone.
It's unanimous.
Okay, all right. And finally, an Ohio-based company is moving forward with plans to manufacture electric planes that can take off and land vertically. Ohio's governor said this will make it possible for state residents to eventually be able to take a taxi, an air taxi. Guys and gals, would you ride in a flying taxi, Ogie?
I would, but I won't see it in my lifetime. It will happen, and I would do it, 50 years down the road or so.
I thought we would be there by now. I really thought I'd be taking my jetpack to school when I was in college.
It's a human drone, and the human drone is going to be here pretty fast, Ogie. You're going to make it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, anyway, that's all the time we have. Except for this. I think it was last week, a California man was arrested for drunk driving, even though he was riding a horse at the time. Said the officer, "Sir, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to administer a breathalyzer test." The man said, "It's okay, but you better take the bit out of his mouth first." See, he thought the horse was going to get
it.
What's wrong with y'all?
There's actually a case in North Carolina on that topic.
We'll do that next time. He knows everything. We'll be back next week.